Hey Rod, hope you're doing well.
Hey, how you doing?
Good man. So obviously you've been teammates with Jalen for a while now, but in a different capacity this year. How much of that work together had you guys been able to get so far, and are you going to be able to get this figured out in time for the season in terms of playing next to each other?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of work done actually. It all started a few months back. Once we were allowed to start doing virtual meetings, we had meetings with our coaches, but we also took it a step further and start, meeting individually to start watching film together, work on calls, communication, making sure he sees the game the right way as he's now switching positions. And the hardest part for him is not necessarily defense, right? Like he knows all the schematics, but it's now lining up in a different spot. So it's now him understanding and grasping like, where do I need to have my eyes here? How are you seeing things? And so I believe the chemistry, man, is going to be a lot easier than a lot of people think. And so far, so good. It seems like even within a couple of days that we've been together as a unit, he's really taken a step further. And so I'm very confident that we will be good once week one hits, and he'll be ready to rock and make a lot of plays at his new position.
Go ahead, EJ, and then Paul Domowit.
Hey, Rodney. I'm curious how much you've been able to get to know Kayvon so far, and what your impressions of are of him, both on and off the field.
Yeah, man. So far, he's a guy that comes to work every day, and that's what you want to see. Right now, he's got to earn his stripes. He's got to earn that jersey each and every day, and I think he's taking the right steps to do that. In the weight room, I can tell he's already a leader amongst his class, right, that he's come in with. That's very evident, and that's what you want to see, him showing those leadership qualities, him coming to work each and every day, learning from guys like myself, Jalen, Darius Slay, other veterans in the room. So I'm excited to see what he can do once we strap on the helmet, because that's what it's all about,
Rodney,
Go ahead, Paul, and then Jeff McLean.
Yeah, Rodney, the opt-out deadline is today at 4:00. You guys have only had one player, Marquise, that has so far opted out. Did you give it any consideration, and has there been much conversation at all about it in the building with other players?
Yeah, it was a conversation I had with my wife, but I think looking at all the protocols that were put in place here, we felt confident in the fact that, this is probably one of the safe environments that you can probably be in within these walls. And so, Marquise Goodwin, he had to do what was best for his family, and I totally understand, and we support him fully for that decision.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then John Clark.
Rodney, last week I asked Doug Peterson about players coming off injury, and he mentioned you amongst them. Did you have a procedure this offseason?
Just general maintenance work, wear and tear from the season. Nothing too serious. Came back doing some rehab work, and I'll be ready to go week one.
Can you tell us specifically what it was or where it was addressed?
No, I don't want to get into any specifics, but, just know I'll be in Atlanta week one, so I'll be good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, John Clark, and then Mike Kay.
Hey, Rodney, I saw that video you posted to Instagram story of the big meeting room where you have the socially distancing, the chairs spread apart, you're wearing masks.
Yes.
And just the general being around the facility with some new teammates in that secondary. Is it harder to build a brotherhood and the chemistry right now with the protocols and the rules and the social distancing?
I mean, it does. It throws a little wrench into it, right? You miss out on the OTAs. That's a period where you build that chemistry, and guys are fortunate enough to get a lot of reps, especially some of these newcomers that we have, like Darius Slay, Roby, Will Parks. And so now, I mean, even though we have, 6 weeks until the first game, we're trying to take advantage of every minute and second and hour that we have together here. We are still all together, even though we're spaced out. So we're building our connection and chemistry right now. Guys are getting up to the speed, taking it a step further and doing what they have to do. But I feel confident about the group that we have, man. We're all professionals, and guys are committed. and that's what you need. And in order to win for this season, it's all about who is able to eliminate distractions, adapt, and sacrifice. That's what it's going to take, both in and out of this building.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Mike, and then John McMullen.
Hey, Rodney. With Darius Slay arriving, he's got the ability to move around the secondary. Sometimes he might face a tight end or a slot receiver. How do you envision that potentially impacting your role in coverage and then the secondary in general?
Yeah, I love it. I think Jim's been very vocal about that. So has Coach M, and having Darius be able to match up, as well as guys like Avante or Roby. We might do a lot of matchup type of situations, but it makes my job a lot easier as a safety, I'll tell you that. When you have guys, of his caliber that can cover, get up in front of the receiver's face, throw off timing for the quarterback, and allow me, to go sideline to sideline. So I'm excited about what we could do. I think we have a very versatile group where guys can line up anywhere, whether it's man or zone.
John, and then Jeff Skaversky.
Hey, Rodney. You just kind of mentioned Coach M there. That's been a change. First time in a while with Corey, had been here for a while. That off season, the virtual aspect, didn't get the in-person time with him. How has that chemistry started to develop with him and the rest of the D-backs?
It's been a lot easier than I envisioned to be. I have some history with him. He actually coached me in the East-West game, so when I was coming out in college, so we go way back. But as far as the rest of the group, man, it's been seamless. And I think people respect him because, one, he's played the game, because of his passion, and because of the way he coaches this group and the expectations that he has for us. It's a very high standard. He's coached a lot of good secondaries, man, and we want to be another group to be respected in this league and treated as such. And so he's going to fit perfectly, man, and we're going to be good.
Jeff, and then Les.
Hey, Rodney, what's up? Thanks for doing this.
Hey.
One of the obviously, with everything going on, social distancing, you can't really spend as much quality time per se with your teammates. As a leader, when you lose Malcolm Jenkins, for yourself now, how much more of a challenge is it for you to step up and be a leader and really try to bring this thing together under really unique circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I was always considered a leader, in a different facet, right? Before, I came in 2016 here, and Malcolm was the vocal leader that this team needed and followed, and I've found a different way to lead, more by actions and playing my role as needed. And I think, now with the absence of Malcolm, I will be needed to be a lot more vocal, particularly in the defensive back room, and on the team. But when another leader leaves, that calls on other guys to step up to the plate and become leaders in their own respective as well. So I'm excited to see who that is, and we'll need a few of those guys this year if we want to get, to our goal.
Les, and then Jimmy.
Hi, Rodney. You were talking a little while ago about Jalen and the new guys and trying to fit everything together. When we talked to Jim Schwartz last week, he kind of indicated that although Jalen is the presumptive starter next to you, that there'll be a competition. Would Jalen be in a much better position this year because Will Parks and Kayvon haven't really worked in the defense? At this point, we're into August, and Jalen's the only one who really knows the defense, I guess, of that group. Does that put him in the driver's seat, would you say, pretty much?
I think it puts him in the driver's seat just because of his play over the past years, right? And though he is making a position switch, I think he will thrive in this position. But at the end of the day, when we get out on that field, man, we're all going to be competing for spots, myself included. It's a talented group, behind us. Will Parks, Marcus Epps, Rudy Ford, Kayvon Wallace. List goes on. I mean, I even like Graylin Arnold, based on seeing him so far. And, I can go through the corner list as well. It's a room full of depth and talented individuals and hungry guys, too, willing to compete And that's what we have to do. We have to create that culture and bring out the best in all of us in order to be the best.
Jimmy and then Ruben.
Hey, Rodney, it's been noted by the team that with Malcolm no longer on the roster, that while you're already considered a team leader, your leadership role will grow this season. Do you see it that way? And if so, from your perspective, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I think it will grow. Like I said, when I came here in 2016, I stepped on the team, and it was evident that, Malcolm was that guy, that vocal leader that the team rallied behind. And I'm looking to, fill those shoes, but do it in my own way because I am my own person. And, we lead very differently. And so I'm excited for this upcoming season to be able to step into this new role and fill these shoes and, lead this team to the promised land. That's what it's all about, man. And we got to work even harder this year because of the challenges that we're facing right now with COVID, the time that we lost. But we're now making up for that. And like I said, it's all about who's able to adapt. Who's able to take advantage of this time, right, and not let it pass them up, but be dedicated and committed each and every day that we have right now.
We got time for two more, and then we'll get Jalen in. So we'll go Ruben and then Martin Frank.
Hey, Rod, good to see you.
Hey, what up?
You mentioned a minute ago talking about having a new secondary coach and maybe the perception of the secondary over the last couple of years. You said we want to get back to being respected. Do you feel like as a secondary over the last couple of years, and even in 17, that maybe this group hasn't been respected the way you should be?
I believe so. I think last year, I would say initially as an entirety as a defense, I think we lost a little bit of respect. It was gained as the season went on. I believe we caught our stride. Guys, were confident in one another. We were getting to, the spots that we needed, and you seen things coming together. But as a secondary, I felt that we were a little disrespected at times. And I think, now it's time to live up to that standard. A standard that's been set, with people that have played way before us, the Brian Dawkins of the world, the Troy Vincents, Malcolm. I think, when you think of guys, who have put on the jersey before us, we owe them that, right? And so we want to get back to this secondary taking over this defense and winning the game and putting the game on our back. And that's the standard that M is holding us to, as well as us as players within the room.
Hey, Rodney, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. I just want to know with, you've been with Jim Schwartz since, 2016 when he first got here. Like what you guys are doing with Darius Slay, supposedly chasing the other wide receiver around pretty much most of the game anyway. Does that represent a big change from, what you've known in the defense for the previous 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, this is something new, but I believe we have the guys around us that are able to adapt and adjust, and we're doing some new things as well. So I think you're going to see a new 2020 defense. We have a different identity than we were last year, the year that we won the Super Bowl. And so I think we'll be good with the addition of Slay being able to match up. We're going to ask him to do a lot, like I said, whether it's, man or zone. But I'm excited for what this group can be and, what we're going to put out there week 1.
Yeah, hey, Jalen, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
No doubt.
I know it. How has your offseason gone? I know last year you spent, I guess, the offseason rehabbing from the injury in London. Just talk about your offseason. It was a different offseason, I'm sure, with the COVID and everything. But how did you prepare yourself coming into the year?
Yeah, it's definitely different. Just for the simple fact of, like you just said, last offseason I was technically trying to still get myself ready and prepared as far as the healing process and get my body right for the season. And now I mean, I'm in shape. My body is ready. My body is prepared, and I'm not worrying about whether I start the season off on IR or a PUP. So definitely, as far as that goes, the physical part, even the mental part, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot clearer.
Go ahead, Daniel, and then Bo Wolf.
Hey, Jalen. Beyond just the switch to safety, you guys have added, some new pieces to the rest of the secondary. What's it been like building that chemistry through a virtual offseason, and what's kind of changed now that you guys are getting time in person together?
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty dope. It's kind of like the virtual OTAs, and then kind of us having on and off just our occasional DB meetings. It's kind of like you meeting, somebody on FaceTime for the first time, and you're trying to, get to know them, because we got the new guys like Slade, we got the rookies, we got Will, we got Roby, we got different guys like that, and you, of course, you know about these guys and you hear about them, but it's a lot different, as you guys know, in person, having that, that personal connection. But for sure, it's been really, really good. We joke a lot. We were joking ever since our first meeting OTAs, and then into now. It's still the same thing. Nothing has changed. So I mean, that's always a good sign from day one that guys are just comfortable being themselves.
Bo, and then Bob Groats.
Hey, Jalen. I think there's some skepticism about how many guys are in a football locker room, all the staff, and the fact that you guys are not in a bubble compared to the NBA. What are the conversations that you guys have in terms of staying vigilant outside of the complex, and as someone who's sort of an emerging team leader, what are the sort of the things that you say to the younger guys in terms of responsibility and stuff?
Definitely, for sure. We are a family at the end of the day, right? We call ourselves a family. We say the man to the left and to the right of us is our brother, and at the end of the day, we have to treat it as such. You don't want to bring in anything as far as this COVID situation into your house, and we have to treat this facility like it is our house, right? I'm calling you my brother, so I don't want to get you sick, right? So when I'm leaving this facility and I am going home, or I might go to the grocery store or different things like that, I need to be wearing a mask. I need to have hand sanitizer in my car or in my pocket or wherever it may be. I need to be washing my hands, making sure that I am staying clean, I am staying safe outside of this building. So once I come back in this building, I'm not causing a problem, not only for yourself, but anybody else in this building. You want to, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Bob, and then Rob Kessner.
Yeah, Jalen, piggybacking off of that last question, I mean, you've seen the COVID outbreaks in Major League Baseball, and one outbreak could blow up part of the season. Do you have to talk with some of these young guys? You mentioned in the previous answer, about that. Do you have to get together with some of these guys and tell them, all it takes is like one party or one night in a bar to blow everything up?
I mean, it's a conversation that can be had at any time, but also I think with that, the protocol that the training staff took throughout the off season and OTAs, they were very, very direct as far as that exact thing that you just said, that one outbreak could cost a lot, and them letting us know that and letting us know how serious it is, and you even seeing how serious our protocol is as to getting into the building. I think guys off the top of their heads, they know how serious this is just by, like I said, us walking in the building and getting in the building, and then we have our beepers on us to where it's tracking us, and every protocol that they're taking care of, you can see how serious it is.
Rob, and then Paul Domowitch.
Hey, Jalen. Rodney was just sort of touching on a topic about the way last season ended, and as a defense, how it seemed like you guys found your stride. I know in the COVID world and everything else that's been going on, last year must feel like a million years ago. But is there anything that you can take from last year that you found at the end of the regular season, and even in that playoff game against Seattle, that you can apply and build upon for this year?
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I think about that game, even every day, and to this date, just because knowing getting to the playoffs, us being there before, how close you are, to getting to the dance, So that one hurt it for sure. But I think the biggest thing that us taking from that is us being ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Finding out who we are, our identity, not only as a team, but as a defense. We're not going to be the same 2019 offense, 2019 defense, 2019 Eagles. This year is going to be different. We need to find our stride, find out our identity and who we are, and stick to it, whatever it may be, So I think that's just the biggest thing. That's what we did those last couple of games, knowing that every game mattered, and we had to win those games to get to the playoffs, and we just kind of found out who we are, and I think that's what we got to do this year.
Paul, and then Nick Fierro.
Jalen, today's the opt-out deadline. Rodney and Fletch and a lot of other players have talked about how safe they feel inside that building. You kind of addressed it earlier. Is that probably the main reason why you guys have only had so far one opt-out?
The protocol here is, it's top of the line for sure. You're talking about the rookies already being here, veteran guys like me itching to just get in the building, but we have to pass a certain amount of tests to where we're literally just going through the drive-through and driving past the building, can't even walk in, to now taking the test every day. You're getting your temperature scan. We're getting a whole clean box where you have Lysol wipes, Lysol sprays. You're getting hand sanitizer. You're getting your own tissue. You're getting your own everything. And like I said, also our beeper trackers, knowing that if something was to happen and somebody was to come down with something, that can track who that person was closest to throughout the day, knowing that now they can maybe give them an extra test just to make sure that they didn't come down with anything. I think that just lets you know how much they're keeping track of everybody and them wiping down everything, man. It definitely makes you feel a lot safer while you're in the building for sure.
Nick, and then Zach Furman.
Hi, Jalen. This is a completely different offseason, obviously. The offseason stuff canceled, and then, it's going to be an abbreviated camp. No preseason games. Are you confident with the plan in place now that you're going to be able to, especially as somebody who's trying to do a position switch, going to be ready for the season, and you're going to be able to get enough accomplished on the field in just a short amount of practice time that you have?
Yeah, no doubt. At the end of the day, this is a position that I played at LSU for 2 years, so it's just not like it's something like totally new to me, playing safety. I played it before, so for sure. And I think as far as the competition that we have here, going against our offense, I'm going against, if arguably not the best one, the best tight ends in the NFL in Zach Ertz, and then him having a great quarterback as far as Carson goes. So I think that's a great thing for me too, having those guys to go against every day. So I think for sure, we already know how Coach Doug is. This Eagles team is. You guys know our camp practices, man. They're competitive, man. They're super competitive, and I think that's just going to lead us into a great season this year.
Zach, and then Les.
Hey, Jalen, if you think back to LSU, what do you recall from the time Corey Raymond first spoke to you about playing safety? And have you specifically thought about the experience in the Outback Bowl this offseason?
Yeah. Outback Bowl from college?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
the time you first played there. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason why I ended up making the transition, I think that was my junior year. We had one of our senior safeties go down. I was still playing corner at the time. It was middle of the season, if I'm not mistaken. And we had a freshman safety go in, and he kind of just had a brain fart, a couple plays, and we were playing a big team I think it was Arkansas. Our defensive coordinator and Coach Raymond knew that I knew the defense, kind of threw me in, said, we just want you to play safety, the calls, just get in the right position, be a ball player. And I think maybe the first or second play in, I ended up catching an interception, and then my last 2 years at LSU, I was playing the safety position. So I think as far as that goes, with Coach Raymond, just knowing you just got to be a ball player at the end of the day. You know, for one, you got to know, of course, the defense, but I think it's no different as far as playing, you know, corner than safety, other than just a little bit more tackling. Because at the end of the day, you know, offenses scheme, they're going to scheme. Whether if they're up, they're going to run the ball. If they're down, they're going to throw it. You know, you just got to know, you know, what position you got to be in each play.
Les and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Jalen. Off of that last question, you said there's not much difference except it's a little more tactical. Could you go into that a little bit? Like, what is there anything that is, you've been working with this transition for several months now. Is there anything that you find that you really have to kind of bear down on that isn't familiar to you from playing corner?
The communication part, you know, communicate not only at corner, my 4 years with the Eagles, I could just get a hand signal, you know, from the sideline if I couldn't hear the Mike linebacker getting a call from Swartz, and I know what exact call we in. Now, I can still get that same hand signal, but, you know, my far corner might not know, or that linebacker sitting next to me might not know, or that defensive end might not have heard it. So just communicating that to each and every person, making sure that we're all on the same page. I think that's just the biggest thing now, being a little bit more vocal.
We got time for two more, so we'll do Jeff and then Dave Zingaro.
Jalen, I guess piggybacking off that a little bit too, Ronnie told us about how in the spring you guys had the virtual meetings and then you guys met just individually to kind of go over film and go over the calls and the importance of the communication between the two of you guys. Can you kind of take us in the room and what was that like, and what specifically did you have to kind of learn from Rodney in terms of the safety communication?
Yeah, so just me, you know, texting Rod, telling him like, hey, let's start going over these teams. You know, we can break it down from week one and we can go all the way down from the teams that we got onto the schedule for this 2020 year. And you know, I really wanted to just hear the way that he communicated, because of course he's been on the back end and I was playing on the outside. So now me hearing how he's communicating, I told him that I didn't want to switch anything that he did because he's been successful at that spot. So just more of learning from him and in different type of verbiage that he may have used, so I don't get out there and I may say something and it may throw him off and slow him down. I just wanted to make sure that he's still playing fast, because at the end of the day, like I said, I know the defense. I just wanted to get the exact verbiage that he may have been using on the back end.
Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Jalen. You seem like someone who's pretty particular about the gear you wear during a Sunday. Have you had a chance to see the mouth guards that the NFL has come out with, and do you think you're going to wear one when the games start?
Yes, I have. I've actually had Scott. They sent me one of. You saying for the helmets, correct? Yeah, for the helmet. Yeah, I actually had Scott send me one. It's in my locker. I might try it out for a couple of days at practice, just to see, you know, if my breathing and everything and things like that is maybe thrown off or not. But I also wear the pacifier mouthpiece as well too. So, I mean, I guess that kind of helps. I got to see what the doctors may say. But like I said, at the end of the day, I think the NFL is doing a really, really good job, you know, up to this point as far as protocol and different things as far as taking care of the players for sure.